guys, it's Ruthie. Welcome to my channel if you're new here, and welcome back if you've been here. Also, if you're new or if you haven't done it yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you get a little notification whenever I make a new video. And I promise you won't get a ton of notifications because I've been very sporadically making these videos. So in today's video, I want to talk about the do's and don'ts when it comes to disclosing your IBD. So I get asked this question a fair amount. Is this something that you should tell people right away? Is it something you should tell people at all? And I have an array of answers that I usually say depending on the situation. So I'm just going to bring you through all of those examples. So when it comes to a profession, and like if you're new at a workplace or with your boss and things like that, a lot of times people will surprise you with how understanding they can be. And they can't do that unless you give them the opportunity to do that. So if you get a good feeling or if you feel like safe and trusted by your boss, then I think setting up a meeting or disclosing that when you feel ready to do so, I think it could be really beneficial to you in your work relationship. Because then there's not this thing that you're hiding. I think often if you have IBD and you're not telling someone or people who you see regularly, you're going to feel really disconnected from the people around you because there's this whole giant layer, this big part of your life that you are not being open about and sharing. So I think if you can share, then share. I think you're going to feel better. Everyone's going to feel better. You're not going to have that like wall of a secret between you and the people you're around. I think if you believe that your condition is going to affect your work, which, I mean, if we're being real, I think most people with IBD, it affects your work to some extent. Unless you're working at home, I guess that's the exception. Like, use your judgment. If you don't think that it really is going to make a difference if you tell your boss that you have this condition or not, then if you feel comfortable telling them, then hell yeah, tell them. And if not, then don't, and it's okay. But if you're going into the workplace and if you are working a job where like, you know that there will be times periodically where you will have to take time off, or if there's a potential of you getting sick and having to not work based on like the nature of your job, then I would always tell them first thing. But you have to feel out your boss, because I know there's laws and everything about how a company can't not hire you because of a pre-existing health condition, but they can always just find another reason to say that you're not a good fit for the job. They can just say that. They can just say, you're not a good fit for the job, or we're looking elsewhere for employment. They can just say all those like code words, and it could end up being because they want someone who doesn't have this health baggage with them, which is a real shame. So it's like, if you think that that is a possibility with the person you're talking to or with the company that you're working with, then I think use your discretion. If your IBD has been kind of dormant for a while, if you've been in remission, then I don't see any big point in telling them unless something comes up. But if you are in and out of flare-ups and getting flare-ups quite regularly, then I think it's the nice thing for you and for the people that you work with to just be upfront about that. And hopefully the quality of work you produce is going to overweigh whatever hiccups that could cause in the company. But this is really a case-by-case basis. So you can always reach out and ask for help, or ask a coworker that you trust, someone who works for the company who's been there maybe a bit longer than you, and you can see like, do you think this is something I should say? And you can usually trust the people that you feel are trustworthy. I'd say in the workplace, it really depends. But working from home, I don't think it's super necessary to disclose unless you're going to actually have to stop working because of it. But if it's just a matter of like getting up and going to the bathroom really often during the workday, you can just let them know that. Something I get asked quite a bit is disclosing IBD and dating. This is a big question. When to tell your potential partner that you have IBD if you are dating. I understand the argument, and I think I used to think this way, of holding it back, because when you date people, like, you want to put your best self forward, and You don't want to talk about things that drag you down. I think that's like a narrative that's pretty common in my head, and I know for other people, of like, well, I don't want to talk about that right now. Like, I'm trying to have fun. Like, I don't want to bring up like this thing that I don't want to think about because I think about it all the time. And if I'm out meeting people, I want to be out and meeting people and not bringing that painful world into this world where I'm trying to start something new. However, I believe that the sooner you can say it to someone that you're dating, the better. When I was dating, I would tell people in the text messages or in the messages in the dating apps, like first thing. And also I kind of like make it a part of my life. So if people like look me up, they're going to see like, oh, she's got poopy problems. They're either cool with it or they're not. And the reason that I think that is by far the best way to approach a dating scene is because it is such a natural filter. Like, you can weed through a lot of people that you would just waste time with. Like, you don't want to be dating someone for like a few weeks and then build up the courage to tell them, and then you tell them and then they're an asshole about it. Like, if they're an asshole about it, like, you want to know that right away. So you don't have to waste your time. You don't have to waste their time. It's like, and also not even just the case of like them being an asshole, but also the potential of them just not wanting to deal with that. Like, that's a real thing that I would get nervous about when I was dating and meeting people, is that like maybe they have a family member who had a chronic illness, or maybe they have some like history of like dealing with people, with loved ones with chronic illness, and maybe they just don't want to go there. Like, they could be a perfectly fine and kind person, but if they're being honest, and if you tell them like right away before you guys catch too deep of feelings for each other, then they then have the decision and the power to be like, you know, I do like you and I want to explore this anyway, and I want to see where this goes regardless of your health. Or they could be like, you know, I'm really scared and I don't want to really open that can of worms. I don't want to catch feelings for someone who has to go through these things because it's been really hard on me. And either way, like, it's a win-win for you, because you're either getting someone who sees you and knows what you go through and is still interested, which feels really, really good, or you are not wasting your time and you're not wasting their time. So I really think that just the quicker, the better. Just get it out there. Air out all your shit right away. And that also goes with friends, not just dating. I think for me personally, that is the way I live my life, is I just put it all out there right away, and it makes me feel so much lighter. And I notice that in history, in times when I haven't done that, or I felt like withholding some of my past or some information, it just puts up a wall. And it makes you feel disconnected from yourself and also from this other person. And if you think about it, if you're trying to talk to someone and you're trying to share things about your life, and if IBD is a big part of your life, you're glossing over a lot of things and you're not really starting off on an honest note. And I know it can be really, really difficult for ourselves, for just us to accept that this is a part of our lives. And I think that is probably exactly what has stopped me from telling people sooner in the past, is that like, I, in my head, am saying like, well, I don't know, like maybe I'll get better. Like maybe it's not going to be a part of my life. Maybe I'm not going to get sick again. But I think just over the years of just continually like going from healthy to sick, it's just been such a roller coaster, and I can't predict that. And if I'm going to be bringing someone in on this life of mine or on this journey, then I want them to know right away, because I don't want to bring someone on a ride that they didn't sign up for. And I think in a past relationship of mine, that was a real issue that I had, was just like, I wasn't sick for the first full year that we were together. And I don't think he truly understood the extent of how bad my illness could get. And once I started to get sick again, all I kept saying to myself was like, he didn't sign up for this. Like this isn't what he thought I was. Like, I am someone different now. And I think if I had been more honest up front, I would have avoided all of those feelings, and I would have And who knows, maybe he would have been totally game and maybe he would have signed up for the ride, you know, but I wasn't feeling confident about that. So I didn't tell him right away, and it definitely bit me afterwards. And in the relationship I'm in now, I was so honest about it right up front, and it's just so important to always be honest with any potential dating partner, and like deeply, deeply honest, like the things in your depths that you don't even want to admit to yourself. Like, you have to look at that shit yourself first. So you have to be honest with yourself, and then you have to share that with the person that you're with, because I think it'll just really clear the air and you guys can connect on that deep of a level, as deep as the shit goes. And I'm not saying that you have to talk about it all the time, or you have to like tell everyone or tell your partner every single thing that's going on in your inner world, because there's like a fine line between just like you want to have things for yourself. But I'm saying about the things that affect your partner, which if you are getting in a relationship and you have IBD, as much as you want to not think it will affect the people around you, it does affect the people around you. IBD does affect the people who love you also. So that is something that really has to be said as soon as possible. I also want to mention in this video that just because you have IBD and because you want to disclose it to the people who are close to you, you don't have to talk about it all the time. You can talk about it as much as you need to talk about it. And just because, like, if you look at me and it kind of seems, or to me it also feels like I'm kind of building a life surrounding IBD and kind of having an identity associated with IBD and surgeries and all this chronic health issues, you don't have to do that. And I know plenty of people who are living and thriving with IBD, with chronic health conditions, who don't really talk about it publicly at all. So don't think because, like, if you see me and you think I look happy and I'm living with chronic illness, like, oh, that means like I have to talk about it with people. And if that freaks you out, don't let that freak you out. You don't have to, it's not a requirement at all. It's something that I'm choosing to do because it makes me feel better. If talking about it and making it public and reaching out to others who have it, if that doesn't make you feel better, then don't do it. You don't have to. I also think that I don't always, like, if you notice, I have like long periods of time where I don't really make videos. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Laziness and procrastination is one of them. Work and my real job and all that is another one. But another reason is that I don't always want to talk about this shit. Like, sometimes I want to just live my life without having to constantly think about or psychoanalyze myself and chronic illness, and just kind of put together all these talking points and things I want to share. But then I have stages where like that fuels me and like I need to do it. So I don't put any pressure on myself to like make weekly videos or put out content on a certain schedule for that reason. So I'm kind of sorry. I don't want to say sorry because I don't want to over apologize, but like a part of me does feel sorry and feel a little guilty that I don't make more videos more often, especially when I hear from people who I know benefit from these videos I put out. And I get really hard on myself saying like, you have to record, you have to make another video, you have to do these things. And I don't want to force content out of me. I also don't want to put too much of my energy into this identity of mine, you know? So this is a part of me. A part of me has IBD, and a part of me talks about it on YouTube and reaches out to people and talks to them. But I mean, I have a few like pen pals, I call them, but we like WhatsApp and talk to each other. I'll go kind of weeks without answering them because I don't always want to talk about this stuff. But when I do, I want to talk about it. So I think what's been really helpful for me is not holding myself to any crazy expectations of keeping a regimented schedule when it comes to discussing chronic illness because it's something I'm still living with. And if I'm dealing with it pretty bad, like if I'm going through it health-wise, then I don't really want to talk about it. I want to talk about it more. I think it's typically when I'm coming out of it, like that place in between, like being really sick and being healthy. I think on that arc upward, like that's when I want to talk more about it. But when I'm feeling really, really good, I don't necessarily want to think back and go back to these places. And if I'm feeling really bad, I just want to feel it and I don't want to think about how I'm feeling it or whatever. I just want to be in it. I think that is really helpful for me to be that way. And I guess I'm just saying that so that if you have any expectations of yourself of like what you have to do and when, I think it's really important for us with chronic illness and with IBD to really loosen the tie on those hard expectations with ourselves because we can't predict. We have no idea when we're going to be feeling good and up for doing things and when we're not. So if there's a possibility for you to have a job or have relationships with people who don't have these high expectations of output and schedules and consistency with that output and schedules, it's really helpful because we shouldn't have to stress about that stuff because, as you know, stress makes everything a million times worse. So right now, my job, I am a video editor for this production company, editing wedding highlight videos. And it is so fun, and I can do it 100% on my own time, within reason, obviously, but I enjoy doing it. So usually when I get the footage, I can get a wedding done in a few days, and I can go to the bathroom whenever I need to. If I'm feeling really shitty in the morning, I can work at night. If I'm feeling really shitty at night, I can work in the morning. Like, it's a really adaptable schedule. And I'm so happy that I have this job now, and it pays great, and it's just really fun. And that's another reason why the videos have been a little sparse on my YouTube lately, is because I'm editing videos full time for my work. So then when I'm off, I don't really want to edit videos anymore. But when I was making videos really consistently, like that was the only thing I was doing. So life is shifting a little bit for me. So obviously the things I put out and the things I do will be shifting along with it. But it's okay, you know, like the cycles of life. I'm sure there'll be a cycle where I'm putting out videos like every other day at some point. So I think being really kind to yourself about your expectations and really honest about what you're capable of, and it all starts with honesty. It all starts with being honest with yourself about how you believe IBD is going to affect this job or this friendship or this relationship, and communicating that. But it has to start with being honest with yourself, because if you don't accept it with yourself first, then it's impossible for you to communicate that honestly to anyone else. If there's any other situations that you can think of where you're wondering, like, should I tell, should I not, or just any questions about disclosing IBD or not, feel free to leave a comment down below or send me an email or a DM on Instagram or wherever you can find to contact me. You can find plenty of places to contact me, I'm sure. So hit me up. I'd love to hear from you, and maybe I'll make a part 2 if there's enough things that I forgot in this video. But I just wanted to get this video out there because it's a question I get asked quite often, and it's something I wonder about. So if there's anything I didn't say in this that you think is helpful when it comes to disclosing IBD or not, then drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. I look like a ghost. I am so pale. It's winter, Ruthie. Well, what's up?